Hey guys, happy Sunday! Today is Sunday, March the 18th, and I am back with more Beatles thingies. How are you guys doing today? I am doing so wonderful, and I hope you are too, because I am back in your computer screen for one more week. As you noticed, this is a different angle, and there's no background music. And that is because this video is to help out another fellow Beatlemaniac whose name is Xanthe. She's from 8 Vlogs a Week, and she is doing a documentary about Beatlemania in the 21st century. So I want to help out. I heard about it about last week, and then Brittany also made a video about 2 days ago to help her out, so I am gonna do it. And this video, you might think it's kind of boring, and I apologize. Most of the video is just gonna be me rambling and talking about my history and the Beatles, and you might know a little bit more about me and my personality, so just saying, if you want to stay tuned. And of course, I encourage you to do it. Fellow submariners, viewers, Beatlemaniacs, feel free. There's the information down there in the doobly-doo. Hopefully you'll stick around, please, and yeah, thank you. So I shall begin. Hey guys, my name is Karen, I'm 14 years old and I love the Beatles. I was born in Mexico, but now I live in the US and I consider myself a vlogger. I make videos on a channel called TheBeatleSubmarine, and I do it weekly, and it's been a really fun time. It's almost been a year since I started, and I'm gonna try to stay here for as long as I want to, or as I can, or as they allow me to. That might give you an idea of how much I like them. Do you share your love of the Beatles with family and friends? What do you think of it? Yes, I do, and I try the most to actually do it. I'm gonna talk about family first and then to friends. My close family, that meaning my mom, my dad, and my sister, obviously know I love the Beatles. They try to get me Beatles things for my birthday, and I am so blessed to be able to actually have them. Last year they got me a record player. Well, you probably can't see it because it's really dark, but I also have Magical Mystery Tour, my favorite album ever, and I have like an actual copy of 1967, the year that was released, and it's so cool, and oh my gosh. They obviously know I love them so much because I do love them a lot. My other family, meaning my aunts, uncles, and cousins, they also know I love the Beatles. And you know, my uncles are about 50, late 40 years old, so they still have some vinyl records, but they don't have a record player anymore. That's back in Mexico, by the way. And they actually send me some records from Mexico. I am so blessed to have a very supportive family about this. I mean, it's not a disease or anything, but some people do get really annoyed by fandom, and I feel so happy and I love to share my fandom, and I'm glad to have a supportive family about this. Yes. But for my friends, I try my best to not annoy them, but whenever something is mentioned about them, I get crazy. Ask anyone, ask any of my friends. I get completely crazy, and I obviously start fangirling about Paul McCartney. And they're just like, oh my gosh, here she goes again about the Beatles. And I don't care. I love them. I just love sharing everything I know, even though they don't care. And I also take pride of this, oh my gosh, that whenever my friends think of Beatles or see a Beatles shirt just being in, I don't know, Old Navy or whatever, they instantly think of me. It's unbelievable that people actually identify me with the Beatles. It's, oh my gosh, it's such a, oh my god. I don't think there's a word for it. I'm extremely happy, and I don't think I deserve it. I know it sounds stupid, but I really take... I'll just stop right there. So what do they think of it? My family, they're supportive. They like the Beatles anyways. They're just not a huge fan of them. And with my friends, I think they're okay with it. Again, I try my best to not be, oh my god, look what I got! or anything. I just try to be myself, and whenever they mention the Beatles, I obviously talk about the Beatles, but you know. How did you get into the Beatles? Well, This is a very long story, I'm gonna admit, and I'll try my best to make it interesting for you guys. So it all started back in mid-2009. I moved from Texas to here. I'm not saying what state I live in, but I used to have this crush on this one guy. Then I ended up moving, which obviously is very depressing and heartbreaking and blah blah blah. I was crazy about him, oh my gosh, it's stupid. But anyways, one day we were texting and somehow he ended up asking me, do you like the Beatles? And to be quite honest, I've heard their name before many times, but I didn't know who they were. But you know, me as a stupid 11-year-old, 10-year-old, I'm not even sure how old I was, but as a stupid little kid I was like, yeah, I love them, they're amazing. And I didn't know anything about them at all. I knew that they had good music, but that's all I knew. So my way to getting out of this one, I asked him, what are your favorite Beatles songs? And he's like, Yellow Submarine, some other song and some other song. Anyways, right after I got that text, I went to my laptop, I opened it, I went to YouTube and typed in Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, and this clip of the movie Yellow Submarine played with the song Yellow Submarine, so like the opening scene. And I started cracking up. I thought that song was the stupidest, and I apologize, the stupidest, weirdest, bizarrest song I've ever heard in my life. I exited out the window like in the middle of the song. I did not want to watch any of it. I was laughing out loud. I almost was on the floor. It was so embarrassing to say this. He asked me like, hey, what's your favorite Beatles song? And again, opened my laptop and went to Google like Beatles songs, and one of them, I think the first one that popped out was Let It Be. So I told him, my favorite song is Let It Be. Like, oh, it's a cool song. And we just kept talking. Anyways, that was like my first encounter with the Beatles. A few months later, in December, before Christmas, I heard about the Beatles rock band, and it was a huge hit and whatnot. And I wanted to give them another chance. I mean, he still liked them. Why not give them another chance? They have something in common. So I told my dad, can we rent the game in Blockbuster or something? I really want to play this game. And he's like, since when do you like the Beatles? I'm like, I don't know, I just want to play it. So we rented the game, and I was hooked. Let's just put it that way. I was hooked. Because I was playing Here Comes the Sun, and I thought, wait, wasn't this song in B Movie? Or Hello Goodbye? And I was like, hey, wasn't that in a Target commercial? I just kept seeing some of the songs, and I've heard of them before. I was playing them like, oh my gosh, this song's so familiar. Oh, I heard this song when I was there. Oh my gosh, I heard this song when I was there. In the end, I made like this huge connection with other songs, and they reminded me of my childhood. And I thought it was amazing. So I went back to YouTube and typed in the Beatles, and I discovered my love for them. Which is your favorite song and why? My favorite song is called The Fool on the Hill, a great track from Magical Mystery Tour, 1967. Paul McCartney wrote it, and it's pretty much about this guy who is called a fool by pretty much everyone in his, well, yeah, pretty much everyone. He's called a fool, but he doesn't care. He still does the thing that he loves to do, which is stand on a hill, apparently. But I really identify myself with that song because that is how I felt when I first got into the Beatles. I was into them in 7th grade, right after moving from state to state, and I thought no one liked them at all. And I was just kind of a loner, you know, as like in school, little loner Karen in the corner, and with that song stuck in my head. And there's this line that says, but he never listens to them, he knows that they're the fools. That is so true, because inside of our minds we think that whatever we're doing is the right thing that we're supposed to be doing. And it just got me right there, and I still identify myself with that song. I think a lot of people should listen to it. It's a very underrated song. Give it a chance. As a part of a worldwide fandom online, have you made any good friends? Tell me about them. Right after I got into the Beatles, like really into them, when I started calling myself Obsessed. Again, was in April 2010. I started an account on Beatles.com, which is pretty much a social network where you just talk about the Beatles and people are just gonna keep talking about them more and more and more. And it was a great site, you know. I got to meet a lot of awesome people there. Robin, I called her Dr. Robin. Let's see, Sol Burr from Brazil, Ultimate Beatles fan #9. I'll talk more about her later. And some other awesome, great people. I used to message them. I used to go there every day and message just this random people I didn't even know. And it was great, but after a while I got bored of it. I started doing vlogs here on YouTube, and I happened to really know Ultimate Beatles fan #9 here. Her name's Jamie, and she is actually one of the other submariners, and we've actually had a really strong connection. And of course I'm friends with the other submariners, you know, Kimberly, Amy, Thomas, Brittany, Natalie, and Nicole. Well, yeah, Nicole. Have the Beatles inspired you at all in your life, and how? They've inspired me to learn guitar and bass and drums, but I can't. I don't know how to play them yet, but I really want to play bass so badly. I recently really got into bass, and I really want to hop there. And but you know, you can't always get what you want. I know it's a Rolling Stones reference, but I don't care. Besides that, you know, they've inspired me to be more artistic. You know, just, you know, using the word, you know, a lot, you know. And be artistic, be myself, not caring what other people think, and overall, just kind of my philosophy in life is the love you take is equal to the love you make. I still believe that is very true. Have you ever acted in a way other people would call you irrational or obsessed in relation to the Beatles, and how? So many stories. Okay, I am gonna tell you a few. Recently, when Paul McCartney was on the Grammys, when we went back to school, I started asking everyone, hey, did you guys watch the Grammys? And pretty much almost everyone said no, like, I don't watch those kinds of shows, what are you talking about? It's a waste of time, blah blah blah. I'm like, I know, but Paul McCartney was there, so that's cool. And the few people who did watch it, I started asking them, did you watch Paul McCartney? Did you see him? Did you see him in his little cute white suit that reminded me of your mother? Said, no. And they're like, no, I skipped it. How dare you skip Paul McCartney? Oh my god, he's a freaking god. I love it. And I just started fangirling about his white tuxedo shirt, and everyone was just like, oh my gosh, Karen, shut up. I couldn't stop. Again, I'm like, oh my gosh, did you see him singing Golden Slumbers for the End? That was amazing. He sounds great for a 69-year-old, and they're like, he's 69? And I'm like, is that the only thing you care about? I used to have this teacher in 8th grade who used to love them as me. And once, I had to do this thing, it's called Current Event, just, you know, talk about news event that happened recently. And I obviously did about Paul McCartney getting engaged to Nancy Chabelle, so that was like about last year. And then when she gave me back the paper, it said, like, on top in red letters, I knew you were gonna do this. And I'm like, yeah. It's kind of funny because also my uncle will say that in my past life I used to be a lover of Paul McCartney because I love him a lot. And it's just crazy. There are so many other stories. Becoming friends with this guy for the only reason of him wearing a Beatles shirt. Acting completely freaked out when people don't know who they are. Being part of this channel. Have you ever experienced any particularly strong emotional connection, reaction, or became a little hysterical when listening to the Beatles? How and to which songs? Once we were at Disney World with my school and stuff, and we were staying in a Disney hotel, and we were in the music, All-Star Music Resort, I think it's called. So the Beatles were playing there constantly. We were about to go back to the airport. We're laying down, and then I hear la da 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 da, la da 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 da, If there's anything that you want. Yeah, well, from me to you, that's all that matters. And I just randomly stood up because I was laying down. I was about to fall asleep. I stood up and I started singing along and dancing to that song, and everyone stared at me, and even like these little like 3-year-olds were just like, what the heck? An emotional reaction I've had to a song is Hey Jude, which is pretty cliche, I know. But it's just that one day, it's stupid high school drama. I had just had an amazing middle school year, and then high school was starting, it was really bad, and my mom was like driving me back from school or something, and my sister was also there, and I was down. I'm really down. No, I was really down. And my family, my mom and my sister went to the groceries, so I just stayed there and I played on my iPod Hey Jude, like the volume all the way up, and I started singing along, and I started crying, and it really did help. It did make me realize that things were going to get better soon enough, and they did. Overall, they did. It's just, it was a very stupid moment of me, but the song really helped. And the last emotional reaction is from The Fool on the Hill. Do you guys know the movie Dinner for Schmucks? Well, that was pretty much the title song and also the ending song. And I cried. They made my favorite all-time song a movie, and I thought that was so special. Who's your favorite Beatle and why? My favorite Beatle, like I just mentioned, is Paul McCartney, and I had the blessing of seeing him play in Detroit a few months ago, almost a year ago, July 24th, 2011. I'm never gonna forget that date, ever! And I saw him, and I was in 12th row, and oh my god, that was the best song! I was wearing the shirt earlier, but I changed. Anyways, it was crazy! I saw him, and he is my favorite Beatle because, no offense to any of the other Beatles, but I think he's the one who contributed the most as a Beatle, and his solo career is also so amazing. Wings, and and yes, that's pretty much all I do whenever I talk to him. I'm just like, and obviously he's quite attractive. I love his persona and his, I call him stereotypes, like the you know, and no, and also the yeah man. I heard him say yeah man like right in front of my eyes, and oh my god, he's awesome. He is an amazing singer. He had an amazing vocal range. Of course, he kind of lost it through the years, but oh my, during the 60s and 70s, oh my gosh, he blows me away. And my favorite album by him is Ram, which I also happen to have right there. Oh, okay. But I still love the other Beatles. That don't get me wrong. I love everyone in a way, in a different way. But Paul is definitely my favorite. I don't even have to think about it. I could marry him right now. If he was, I don't care if he's 69, he's gonna turn 70 in June. I don't care. I don't care if he's married. I don't care if that would be considered cheating on Nancy. I'm sorry, Nancy. I would marry him right now. And no, I don't care that he's rich. I don't care because money can't buy me love. Anyways, guys, I love him. Okay? I'm gonna stop fangirling and say I love him. And yes, James Paul McCartney, I wish you to marry me. Would you call yourself obsessed? How do you feel when other people call you obsessed or insinuate that people shouldn't feel so strongly about the band? I don't care. Call me obsessed, because that's the truth. I don't know why I should be ashamed of something I am. I love being called obsessed. I love being called a freak, a Beatle freak. I just feel proud. I don't mind at all. At all. And of course, I consider myself obsessed, because I am. I know what I am, and I am obsessed with Beatles, and I don't care that people notice that. I don't care wearing this every single day for the rest of my life, and people just staring at me like, gross. That would be a little gross, but still, I wouldn't mind. The Beatles are in my heart, and I am glad that I got them into my life. That was horrible singing, but still. How can you not call yourself obsessed with these things on your wall, ladies and gentlemen? I find it a complete pleasure to be thought of as obsessed, or anything that has to do with the word Beatles itself. Just amazes me. So yes, well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Xanthe, for having this amazing opportunity and making this, what I can already tell is going to be an awesome documentary because I'm in it. Thank you, viewers, so much for sticking with me, and see you next Sunday.